go into our dressage highlights. Again, I've gone by in alphabetical order, so but I will finish up on the two highest scoring dressage entries of the week. There are two of them because they're both on identical scores, and we will explore that a little bit more because there's something else quite remarkable about that, but we'll come to that when we come to that. I'm not going to tell you everything right from the beginning, so have a look and see what you notice about the two final dressage horses on the video that are the two highest scoring dressage entries of the week. Okay, now then, are you guys ready with your fingers on the button? Because I'm going to ask you a question, and let's see if we can get an answer in the chat going. What do the last two entries, so that's a yearling and the foal, have in common? And if you're Sharon or Sally, you're not allowed to answer. Well done, Dan! Absolutely. They're both out of the same dam. And what's pretty cool about that is they both ended up on an 8.55. I mean, you really, if you wanted to have some form of evidence for how important the dam is and how much a mother stumps her foals, then from two very different stallions, we have got two really lovely offspring here. In fact, Mary Canto as a foal was an elite at Richmond. And, I mean, for a yearling, he's looking fantastic. Yearlings are always a little bit more of a difficult age to show. So they're both out of the same showmaker mare and presented by Sally and Sharon, which is why they weren't allowed to answer. So well done you, Dan. Well done for spotting that. Katie, what are your impressions of the dressage lots, and particularly those last two?
Yeah, I mean, as you were saying, how important the mare is. And we often say it's very important that you make the right selection of stallion to go with the mare. You have to be aware of, maybe the less good points of your mare. And obviously, when you've bred a couple of foals, you know what your mare brings to the table. And I think, these breeders, these two, the yearling and the foal, they know what their mare produces, and then they make good selections. And that is a crucial thing with breeders. You have to learn by looking at your stock and understand what your mare brings to the table. But then you have the problem of selecting a stallion, and that's not so easy, because you only get to see videos or whatever, or you see some of their competition history, or you look at the bloodlines, and you have to see what they bring to the table. So it's not simple. In the past, people used to go to the stud and see the stallion in the flesh and find out what he was doing and see some of his babies in the fields. And that doesn't happen these days. These days, you look at a video, you see some videos from the stallions at the shows and things, and then you make selections. And I think these breeders have made very good selections of the stallions they picked to go with this mare. And that is a very crucial thing. And you can see that the mare, when she's moving, she's very supple in her body. She has a good reach in her stride, and she's also very well balanced. So she brings those things to the table. She's also an elegant mare. We talk about them being quite a modern type. She brings those things to the table, and then she passes them on to the foal. So it gives you quite a lot of options of the stallions that you could use. But as we were saying, that mare is very important. And you can see that her two children have both scored the same marks, which is very interesting, isn't it? Because they come with those qualities that gain the marks. And this is, as breeders, what we should all be aiming to be breeding.
Yeah, and a really superb result. So from that stud, you will have seen everybody wearing the tops. We had 4 entries in the same week, and all of them were golds. So that is really super, such a high level of consistency. And and starting really from using some very good mares. And I think that cannot be emphasized enough. So congratulations. I mean, Sally and Sharon, if you're on, can you put in the chat if the mare is in foal again, and if so, to who? Just stick it in the chat if you're here. Otherwise, I'll just be asking you anyway on Facebook Messenger at some point, because I think it's super interesting to see what she does next. And of course, we look forward to that next year. I thought there was a really lovely collection of foals there. Really nice is to see such a variety of breeding as well. Lots of different bloodlines being used, lots of different types. And that's something that's so special, I think, to British breeding, is the fact that we do like to mix it up and bring diversity. Oh, there they are. Sharon says she's in foal to So Unique. So we're all looking forward to that, Sharon. Another really, really good choice for that mare, I think. I think she can really take this, a sort of long-legged type. So I think that'll be really super. And you must promise us, Sharon, I'm putting you on the spot, that you're going to bring that foal next year for us to look at. Okay. So the variety. And I think that is really interesting. And of course, we are getting closer to our auction selections now. If you have, if your foal or young horse has scored an 8 or above, you're automatically pre-selected for our final auction selection. And what we are going to do at the end is then pull together a really nice final selection based a little bit around pedigrees as well, to have that variety in the auction. I think it's really important. We don't want too many by the same stallion so that they don't end up competing against each other. So it's really super to have so many different ones. We're really, really spoiled for choice in our very first year.